My fellow Americans, 'tis I, the Rumpled One. Let's see, it's Thursday morning, August the 9th, year 2012. Thought I'd give you a different drop. Instead of looking to the south, look to the north. Nice view back there. Another cool morning, overcast. Just about 60 degrees. The overcast will probably burn off about noon. It'll be nice and sunny. Okay, today's topic. Politics. We all know the system's rigged, but have we really thought who it's rigged for? I mean, we think we know, but I don't know if we do. You have to admit the whole thing's kind of funny. You get these guys, they get elected, they make a mess of things, and then they get re-elected. But if you look back on it, if you thought about it, if this was an employer, these guys would get fired. They wouldn't even make it through their first term. So why is it in politics we allow them to get re-elected? Well, you might say you don't have any choice. Well, what's the reason we don't have a choice? Why is it that these political parties put up a loser? Now, they might have won the election, but as far as the job goes, they're losers. Why would they want a loser to stay in power, to stay in office? Think about that for a second. Well, what you think? I mean, I told you next week my congressman's coming to town. He's been my congressman since the late 80s, when I first moved out here. Why do these people keep re-electing him? There's only 60,000 odd people in this county. I guess he represents a couple counties down here. But I don't know who benefits. I can't point to a person and say, you know what, because that congressman got elected, this person benefited. The congressman benefits. I mean, we don't have to even talk about all the perks, how much money he's made sitting in office. But why is it he keeps getting the nomination? Just because he won once? I mean, think about it. Let's say this was back in the times of Rome, Greece, when they had gladiators. They would put their best gladiator up, not some guy that couldn't fight. Right? And we just got these career politicians in there who that's their career. Get elected, get re-elected. And in the meantime, they strip us of our freedoms little by little, run up the debt, and just make a mess of things. But I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. But the question is, why? What's the reason or reasons that this keeps happening over and over and over? Who is really benefiting from these bozos and buffoons getting reelected? You might say big business. Well, like I said here, there's really no big business. Seriously, there's really no big business. The biggest employer is the county. And the people running the county, they're a bunch of buffoons too. And they keep getting reelected. And you see the same names, you know, one year they're on the school board. They stay there for a few terms. Then they move over to the port district. They stay there a few terms. Then they move over to the hospital district. The same people. But that's because when somebody with common sense is asked to run, they go, oh, I don't want any part of that mess. And so you get the same old, same old. But I did a video about that, and that gets back to we the people. That's our fault. But when you look at it, the big picture, I mean, think about it. Obama has basically been the worst president that we've ever had. They've been making jokes about Jimmy Carter telling Bill Clinton, hey, we're no longer the worst. This guy really screwed up. But just because he's the incumbent, he gets to run again. It's like no contest. But see, that's not the way it should work. You should have to fight for the job. That's like saying if you win the Super Bowl, then you don't even have to play the next season. You get to defend your title automatically. No, you got to earn it each year. Each season. So what's the reason these politicians don't have to earn it each time? Well, part of it could be, you know, the money. All those political contributions and political action committees, and the super political action committees. I guess they got super dupers or mega political action committees. Well, I got a solution for that. See, if you want to donate money to the political process, instead of donating it to a particular candidate, you just put it in the political pool. And then all candidates get an equal share. Now, that would do a couple of things. It would clean up the mess, because it would give each person running an equal amount of money. So the incumbent couldn't build up these war chests. And then big business, big money, wouldn't have a lock on anybody. Because it wouldn't matter how much they contributed, because it'd go into the pool. And then, you know, if I wanted to run, if I could get enough signatures, then I could run for office, and I'd get an equal amount of money, say as Obama. Be on equal footing. And then we could debate over who's the better person. Which is another thing. An employer, first thing you do is when you want a job is you have to fill out an application. You have to show some ID. Well, that should be the same thing in the political process. You fill out an application listing your previous jobs, your previous accomplishments, references, and show some ID. That'd be really good. And then in the voters' information pamphlets, you can have all that information there. Basically, a resume for each candidate and some, you know, proof of ID. But that'll never happen, because that just makes too much sense. It would even the playing field, which is something they don't want. They want advantages. I mean, the Democrats just live to take over the House and Congress and the White House, and the Republicans just live to take over the House, the Senate, and the White House. I mean, that's their sole purpose, is to be in power. not to do anything to benefit the country, but to be in power. Their priorities are all messed up. But once again, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. The question then is, what do we the people do about it? I mean, I've said we should just have basically a re-elect no one policy until we get the government we want, but that's not going to work because most people don't care. They're just trying to put food on the table, keep warm, keep cool, get their bills paid. They're kind of like squirrels chasing a nut. Sounds like they're doing some logging in the background. I hear heavy equipment running. So, my fellow Americans, I haven't told you anything that you don't already know, but there's one thing you still have to do. Wake up and smell the hypocrisy.